Hey guys, it's Taylor back with Life with Taylor, and today I am going to be showing you and reviewing the 30, I'm just gonna go ahead and guess, 30 books that I have read since last year, or including last year. I don't know, let's just get into it. Okay, so I've got scales, okay? Scales on how I'm ranking these books. So, for the plot, I'm going to be basing it off of characters, the story, and what emotions it may have brought me. I've seen some people go about this, like, including writing style. I don't know different writing styles. Like, I'm not a professional on books or writing styles, so I'm just gonna be sharing my opinion on each of these books that I've read so far. Next, we've got the spicy scale. The spicy scale is 1 chili pepper, like a kiss or like a scene, but it was almost inferred, you know? But like you're able to infer, you know? Next, we've got 2 chili peppers, which is a conversation about spice. Maybe a little more than kissing. 3 chili peppers is details. Maybe a couple pages, a scene or two to move the plot along, not really the focal point. Number 4 is chapters, which I'm going to tell you right now, almost all of these books that are romance are going to be 4. And then number 5 is Are You Mad? I have not read a book where I'm like, oh my god, are you like okay? For a while, but I can think of a couple that I had to stop reading, and I wasn't even the one reading it. I just got like pages and I was like, oh good lord, that is maybe because it was like a different kind of spice, not usually what I'm used to. Maybe that, I don't know. Next, we've got the spooky scale. One ghost is mysterious. It's like there's a little spice of mysterium. Is that a word? 2 ghosts is kind of like weird, like, oh, that's sketchy. That's interesting. There's something happening there. 3 ghosts is not a night read. Yeah, that's like, I would not recommend that read at night, you know? Next, we've got 4, which is just scary. All capital letters underlined as well. Number 5, Are You Mad? Right? Like, that's disturbing how creepy that is. And then I'm also gonna tell you if I recommend it. Okay? So, again, these are my opinions. I'm also going to link all of the books down below in order to make it easier for you to check out all of these books, so you don't have to go surfing the web. Alright, starting off, we've got Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. Also, again, no hate to the authors. Each book is good in their own way, no matter how I rate it. I got this late 2023 and read it, I think I finished it in March 2024. And it took a while because I am not a hard book cover girly. Like, I love the way it looks, the way it feels, like compared to a paperback's like mold in your hands almost. Like, it's so comfortable. This is just like you're holding a brick, which is fine. I also did tear up the dust jacket. From what I can remember, this is kind of like a science-y fiction. It involves chemistry. I like reading books about things that I don't understand, like when they start talking gibberish, I'm like, and I don't know why. This does include a dog for animal lovers. This is kind of a sad book. The first half is sad. Like, it is sad. And then the second half, I think, is where it loses me. Because, like, yes, I see the summary, but it, like, I don't know why the second half just does not click. The first half, I just had to get past a couple of chapters, and I think that's mostly with every book. I'm gonna go ahead and give that based on the characters, the story, and the emotions that it brought me. I'm gonna go ahead and give it I'm gonna give that a 7 out of 10. So I'm gonna give that like a 2 chili peppers, 5 for the beginning though, because are you mad? Bro. Spooky scale, 0. Do I recommend this? I recommend this to people who have an interest in science, who agrees with the kind of message behind this, and who also might love ores. What is that thing called? Ores? I don't know. Animals, cooking. I think you would like this. But, you know, I'm gonna say mid. Okay? Because it's like give or take, you know? Would I reread this? Probably not. Next, I spent 20 minutes talking about that. Next, we've got a series. I'm gonna try not to spend so much time on this because as we know, girl. Okay, so we have the TikTok popular book, The Housemaid, which I didn't actually even find this on TikTok. I was walking through Barnes & Nobles, which they are expensive. And I saw this book and it caught my eye. And for months I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to read it or not. Because at that moment I was like, I don't know if I want to read murder mysteries. I am so glad that I got this in 2023 at Christmas. I actually finished this in like 2 days. This is one of my favorite books. We're gonna get to my favorites in a minute, okay? Because I definitely have some. This is such a good book, and I understand why it was so popular. This book was twisty and turny, and there were so many secrets, and it's like an amazing psychological thriller suspense book. Granted, I have not read that many psychological thriller suspense books, but I can tell you this one is amazing. And it's also kind of a short one, 325, relatively short. Switching viewpoints and changing timelines. Oh my god, I did not know. This was the book that made me like different viewpoints because you just get both sides of the story. It's amazing. Characters, absolutely love them. There weren't too many, but there were just enough to where you could remember each information piece about them and kind of put it together. Story was crazy. The twists and turns and freaking plot twists. It was like plot twist after plot twist, and I was like, okay, I was not seeing that coming. Emotions, like page turner, like frantically reading because I'm so excited. Because what in the suspense spicy scale, I'm gonna give it a 2.5, okay? Because it's not a conversation, but it's not details. At least if I'm remembering. Let me see. Okay, girl, I must have blanked when I read the second half because I was reading so fast. But apparently chapters 48 and 50 are considered spicy. I also remember that the main character, Millie, she's a housemaid. I think she's an ex-convict, and so now she's trying to turn her life around. She's like, okay, I'm gonna be a nanny. I'm gonna go work for these rich people. Obviously a lot happens in between, and everything's going good, and then she starts uncovering secrets, and then finally the truth comes out, and like it's crazy. But I do remember the main character, Millie, and the rich husband, Andrew, did have like a one-night stand, I think. So that's why I'm giving it a 2.5, because it wasn't details, but it was like you could infer what happened. Recommendability, absolutely recommend. absolutely recommend. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Would I read again? Absolutely. All right, next we've got The Housemaid's Secrets. And I honestly thought that this was going to be the last book. No, girl. Let me see if I can remember this correctly, but it's the same female character in all of the books. It's just kind of like a timeline, you know? So after her adventure with the rich family, she goes to be a maid at, or no, I don't know if these are spoilers, but after that book, she decided, okay, I want to help people from these crazy captors. And so in this book, this is like an example. And Nina Winchester is also in this book, which is the wife to Andrew Winchester in that book of the rich family. This was crazy. I can't really remember what this one is about. I just remember I read it in like a day. I'm going to say this one did not stick with me, and I did not remember it as much as the first one. That one was like chef's kiss, beautiful. This, take it or leave it, okay? The characters, they were okay. I, again, preferred this one. And that's why I kind of don't like series, is because with the series that I have read, it usually, the first book is amazing and then it can't compare to the other one, so it kind of goes downhill. I think this is what happened with that series. If that was a standalone, beautiful. But again, it's the author's choice, and I support the author's choice. I'm gonna go ahead and give this, the story was okay, and I don't think there were very many emotions. I really can't remember. So, spicy scale, I'm just gonna say 0 because I don't remember. Spooky scale, I'm gonna give it a 1. It was mysterious. That one, probably a 3. Honestly, I would not read that at night. So overall, I'm gonna give it like a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6. That seems right. Out of 10. Next, we've got the third and final book in the series, The Housemaid is Watching. Now, this is the biggest book. I did take tabs, which I will read a couple. I did spoil this because I was reading it on my Kindle, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna physically bookmark this book. I'll do all these bookmarks, and then I was like doing this, kind of looking to see if there were any, like, you know, sections. And I found one, and then I read the first line, and I was like, well, there goes a plot twist that I didn't even know about. So I completely ruined the plot, which is my fault. But I feel like this, is there a special? Ah, Walmart special, look at that. Fun. I feel like, and maybe it was because I read it on Goodreads, I feel like this was unnecessary, and almost like in set of 3 books, how the middle one sometimes is a filler or a transition between the first and last book. This one is kind of like, it's almost like a paintbrush, and when you glide it across the paper, it like loses its paint. So in the beginning, it's like amazing, and then it just go downhill. I think that's a great analogy metaphor for this series. The characters, it was a shock. It was a shock when an old character came back and was in this book. It was a shock. That was some emotion. I was like, oh, did not see that coming. The story, it's okay. I feel like it kind of lacked pizzazz. The characters, again, okay. Spicy scale, I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Because I know that there were some instances where you could infer what was happening. Spooky scale, I'm gonna give it a 2. I feel like it was weird. It was like, oh, what's happening next? That's weird. What's happening over there? Overall, I'm gonna give it, I really don't want to, but I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10. I feel really bad. Actually, none of these will make any sense when I read them out, so you don't get to hear it. Okay, and then lastly, this is kind of a part of the series, but it's a novella. Love this cover, although this looks like ketchup. I absolutely love this color. I love purple, so there's that. It's called The Housemaid's Wedding. A short little novella that I finished in like an hour. And this is very, I think there were like 2 plot twists, but it's suspenseful. It's just a good novella. This does take place in between the 2nd and 3rd book. This is when the main female character gets married. And then it kind of transitions into this 3rd book, which I think this came out after the 3rd book, which is maybe, I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and give this characters. There weren't as many, which is good. The story, there wasn't really much of a story, which is only so much of a story that you can put in to a novella. But I liked this. It was like, ooh, girl, what is gonna happen next? The emotions, again, like I was too stunned to speak. I was like, okay, next page. The spicy scale, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's much spice. Also, girl, that eye, so cat eye, love it. Spooky scale, I'm gonna give it a 1 point. I'm gonna give it a 1.5 because like it's mysterious, but it's not like as mysterious as any of the other books, which I think is like, it's not a full story, so there's not a lot that you can really put into a novella. I think, I don't know, I'm tired. It's 40 minutes and I've done 5 books, which is crazy. Would I recommend it? Maybe. If you're reading this entire series, then yes. I recommend this one the most. These ones, unless you want to read the entire series, you don't need to. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give the series a total of, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. 7 out of 10. All right. Still with Miss Frida McFadden, we've got Never Lie, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Are you hearing me? Spooky scale, 4. Spicy scale, 2.5. There was like a scene, kind of. I don't really know how to explain it. The characters, amazing. The story, even better. The emotions, crazy. Look at all of the tabs. I was like full on like putting my thoughts into this book. It is crazy. This is probably my favorite Frida McFadden book. Oh, don't tell the housemaid, okay? These two are tied, but I think this one's winning. But basically, these newlyweds, Trisha and Ethan, they're searching for their house, okay? They stumble across, or they don't, they find this house and they go to meet with their real estate agent. But unfortunately, there's a blizzard. The real estate agent can't get out there. I don't think there's any service or anything either, which is scary. So they're basically stuck in this snowstorm, and they spend a couple nights, maybe just a night, in this house. And the more they stay there, the more they uncover clues, which is crazy. Oh my gosh. Recommendability, absolutely recommend 1000%. Love this book. Alrighty, next, the last Frida McFadden book that I've read. I've still got one over there that I need to read. But we've got The Boyfriend. And this is basically about this single Pringle. She's in New York, so like, she can't really find the perfect man for her. And then she does. But her friend dies. Is that a spoiler? And so she was seeing this guy, and it's crazy. It's a thriller, and it's good. Characters, they were okay. I didn't really have too much connection with them, but they were good. The story was very creative. I liked it. Plot twist, the emotions, the spicy scale, I'm gonna give it a 2.9 because I think there was a scene, possibly, I don't know, I get things mixed up. Spooky scale, freaking 2.5. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because it's not like super creepy, but it's not like, oh, you can't read this in the dark, but it's also not like, oh, this is just like a little kid's book. This is crazy. There's also switching POVs. I think that's a theme in most of her books, is switching point of views. And then also like timeline change, which is amazing. I want to read more of her books, but this is very good. This is very, very good. I'm gonna go ahead and give it I'm gonna give it an 8 because it 8. The plot twist at the end kind of like partially predicted it, but also didn't. But then it was also kind of like, what? It was unpredictable, but it was also like, I feel like I would have wanted to predict it than to have that kind of plot twist, because the plot twist was kind of weird at the end there. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. It's a pretty good book. Not my favorite from Frida McFadden, but it's definitely a good book. Okay, I actually lied. I forgot I read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I'm just gonna go over it quickly. I read it on my Kindle. I absolutely disliked the age gap. Oh my sweet heavens, Betsy. What was happening in that book? I'm so glad that I got it on Kindle Unlimited and I didn't have it as a paperback, because what in the world was that? What was that? That's crazy. I don't like age gaps, especially if you've read it, you know, but it's horrible. Characters, they were okay. Plot, it was fine, I guess. Okay, so the main female character, Adeline Severson, 16. The male teacher, 30. 14-year age gap. I'm gonna give that a 2. Okay, that was my least favorite book from Frida McFadden. Spicy scale, chapters. Spooky scale, 2. Weird. What is happening here? This is weird. This should not be happening. We went through some thrillers and I don't even know, but we've got romance. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off and say I did read the entire Maple Hills series, and as much as people hate on this, I love it. I love this series. Not my favorite, but my second favorite. Icebreaker is my empire, my Roman empire. I did screw up by reading Wildfire first, and I think that's just really what put the I was just like, I don't like this book. And it was also like jumping in, like I had no idea, there were so many characters. I was so confused, and then all of a sudden you're bringing chapters of spice. I was very confused. So let's start off with Icebreaker. In Icebreaker, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chapters of spice. And yes, I don't ask why. I just wanted to see how many there were. How many chapters? I don't understand why people hate this book. Chills. Okay, wait, I marked this. Taylor Swift mentioned. Okay, Icebreaker. controversial 10 out of 10. Actually, 9.9. Actually, 9.5. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. The only thing is there are too many characters. I can't keep my head straight, my thoughts, and all of the information of this book straight when there are so many characters, which is an issue, you know, because the characters are like supposed to help the plot go, but like if I don't remember who JJ is and who all the other characters are, like, how am I supposed to read this book and understand? I did get through it eventually. I just love the banter and the chemistry between them. Yep, I love this book. 9.5. It would be a 10 if there were just a little bit less characters. Characters, they're good. Story, amazing. Plot twists, the emotions, and also, yes, there are 11 chapters of spice, which is a lot, don't get me wrong, but like also Anastasia, the main character. She's got, I think there were scenes of her doing like therapy, and she's got an ED, which is just very emotional and very raw and like relatable to a human who goes through the same things, and it's beautiful but also heartbreaking at the same time, but it's the perfect combination, you know? Love it. Would I reread? Absolutely. Have I reread this? Parts of it, okay? Oh, I love Icebreaker. I love it so much. Next, we've got Wildfire. Now, again, Wildfire I read before Icebreaker. There are 7 chapters of spice in this. I didn't even explain what. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Icebreaker is enemies to lovers. He falls first. It's a sports romance, hockey. Girl, that was the book that got me into hockey. I was like, okay, I like the sport. What is this? Okay, Wildfire, sports romance, hook up to lovers, dual POV, forced proximity. So basically, I think they hook up and then she goes to volunteer at a camp and then he goes to volunteer at the same camp, but they don't know that they're gonna see each other there, and then when they do, I don't really remember what happens, but the chemistry between them, I think is good. I'm trying to remember. I just really obsess about Icebreaker. Spicy scale, I'm gonna give it a 4, but like that was a 4. This is a 4. No spooky scale, obviously. Plot, I like the characters. There weren't too many characters in this book because they were away from their friends, so they didn't really need to be around their friends. The story, I think it was good if I remember correctly. The emotions, there were also like personal things happening in their lives that they had to deal with together. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 6.5. Okay, then we've got the third and final book in the series, Daydream. Okay, first I want to point out, if you're a Swiftie, what do you notice? Right, her cardigan with stars on it. I didn't even notice it until my cousin pointed that out, and I was like, I literally didn't even notice that. And then also, quote, "We survived high school together and I watched him date everyone in our class without a you belong with me moment in sight." That's the 3rd page. On the 1st page, chapter 1, it says, "His eyes follow me every move as I remove the 'This is me baking' apron he bought me for my birthday, like he's waiting for me to have some kind of dramatic outburst." The references to Taylor Swift. This is friends to lovers, forbidden romance, fake relationship. He's the hockey team captain. Like, oh, here we go. Quote, "Yes, I reached for my phone and turned down my sad Taylor music playlist because Henry's just gotten through his funk and he doesn't need to see me bawl my eyes out if 'This Is Me Trying' comes on." And then he says something about Marjorie. Okay, here we go. "Tuesday evening with a slight stale bag of chips and a pile of tissues because listening to Marjorie makes me miss my Nana and I can't stop crying, but I also can't stop listening to it." I love their band. I just love it. I think I like it more than Wildfire, but Icebreaker takes the cake out of the series. I still love it. And he's an artist and she's a writer. Oh my god, it is so cute, their chemistry. Okay, the plot, characters, good. I don't think there were too many characters in this one, but the first one did have to have a lot of characters because it was kind of like the introduction. The story, love. Emotions, kicking my feet and smiling while reading this. Okay, Friends to Lovers just kind of, it's just like, and then she's a tutor. She's tutoring him. Spicy chapters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 spicy chapters in this. So the spice did go down, but like it was still an incredible book. Overall, I'm gonna give this a 7. Yeah. Overall, I give this series a 7. All right, so I got through 10 books in an hour. So I'm gonna continue tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow. I am exhausted. I will see you guys tomorrow and we will continue this video. Okay, so it is in fact 2 days later. Up next is The Love Hypothesis, written by Allie Hazelwood. And girl, this is my first Allie Hazelwood book. And I have heard that Love Theoretically is better, which is crazy because this was good. This was really good. Like at the end, I was just like speed reading and I was like, oh my god, I love this. Oh my god, I love this. Freaking romance and science. I'll take 40 of them. There's bonus chapters as well. Did I actually mark them? I don't think I did. I don't know why. Okay, so I know when people, so I'm gonna just go ahead and go past that. Okay. I'm gonna read the things that I tapped off, okay? So I know some people are like really smart when they're reading and they're like, oh my god, that was such a good line. That was so what's the word that starts with prophecy? Philosophical. I don't even know if that was the right word to use. But like, they're like, oh my god, that was such a good line. Like, I really relate to that. That author wrote that so well. I'm just like, that line really stuck out to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and underline that. Even if it says, I think, okay, we're gonna get to it. It's in the next book, okay? It's in 2 books, okay? It was literally just 2 words, and I was like, ah. Actually, it was 3, but anyways. Page 349. Sweetheart, he murmured. What is the second thing? She was still crying, but she'd never been happier. So she said it, probably in the worst accent he'd ever heard. Ik hou van you, Adam. Which I think it means I love you. In I don't know what language. And then page 351. Just stand there, she ordered. Look antagonistic and unapproachable and say pumpkin spice. And then 352. May I kiss you, Dr. Carlson? Oh, okay. So that's crazy, the switch up. And then 393. Adam smiles too and thinks, this is it. He thinks, I love you. He thinks maybe one day you'll even let me tell you. And he says, hey. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and be the bearer of bad news. I don't like the age gap. How old is he supposed to be? Isn't he supposed to be like 36 and she's like 20 something? Hold on. 8 to 9 years is their age difference. Yeah, she's 26, he's 34. Like, okay, adults, completely understand. I just don't like age gaps that are over 2 years. 3 years is pushing it. I don't know why. That is the only thing that I did not like about this. And it's a personal preference. It is nothing that the author did wrong. It's just a personal preference. I love Allie Hazelwood's writing. I see why everybody loves her. This is the only book that I've read of hers, but it did make me buy another one. And I'm very excited to read Love on the Brain and Love Theoretically eventually, but I'm so excited. This was so good. So the characters, loved them. Loved the plot and the setup. It was kind of guessable in the prologue. I kind of knew how it was gonna happen. But the plot twist, I had no idea that was going to happen. No idea. So, loved the characters, loved Anna. I think that's how you say her name. Let me give you a rundown. So Olive Smith, she is a third-year PhD candidate. Her best friend believes in romantic relationships that she doesn't. Okay, so this is a fake relationship. Olive is convincing Anna that she is in a relationship, but she's not. So Olive kisses Dr. Carlson, Adam, because Anna was coming down the hallway and she wanted to show that, you know, she was dating him. And then he's a, and I quote, hotshot professor, but he's also a grump, okay? So, you know where that goes. You know where that goes. The grump just kind of goes away when they start hanging out together. I also love that at each chapter, there was something like this. Oh, so, see at the top, hypothesis. The love hypothesis. Story, again, a little, I knew what was going to happen in the beginning with the prologue and then going into the book. But everything else was not, that was plot twist. The emotions at the end when the plot twist happens, I swear, I stood back, I was reading, and I stood back and I went, before I even knew what was going to happen, like chills, heart racing, because I was flipping through the pages trying to see what was happening next. It was a real page turner, and it's not even a, loved it, absolutely loved it. That was a good one. Wait, where did that go? It was hypothesis, a heart breaks, oh, and then at the end it says results. Excuse me, I really wanted to read that out loud. It was a heart breaks, more times than, oh yeah, a heart will break even more easily than the weakest of hydrogen bonds. Spicy scale, there is an epilogue. It's 2 chapters, 16 and 17. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.5 because it's in the middle of details and chapters. Technically, it is 2 chapters, but it's not the worst thing I've ever read, you know? Was it necessary? I don't know, but it was a good little extra at the end. I think that was also why it was at the end and not like in the middle of the book. But yeah, 3.5 for the spicy scale, spooky scale, 0. Recommendability, I recommend this, okay? I recommend this and haven't even read the rest of the series, but I'm going to go ahead and recommend that too. If it's anything like this or better, especially for romance science girlies, okay? Okay. Overall, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10, and it's only because of my preference of age gaps. I don't know why, it's just something that does not sit right. Like 26, like she looks 26, okay? Maybe even like 24. 34. Like if I didn't know he was 34, I could have convinced myself that he was 27, but I have to go Googling. So 8 out of 10, I really, really love this, and if this is an 8 out of 10, and love theoretically is supposed to be better, I'm very excited to read that one. Alright, next up, I just recently read this in January. So, I was influenced. I actually have been influenced by all of these books that I've read, to be honest. Some of them I've just seen and I was like, oh, that's a fun cover. That's a good little blurb on the back. I'm gonna go ahead and get that. This is a TikTok book. It is by a very well-known author. These next 2 books are by the same author. I'm gonna go ahead and name the rest of the series because I read Twisted Love. I tabbed it. I was like, man, there's not really anything tab-worthy. It took me a minute to get into this, okay? The first couple of chapters, the exposition, you know, kind of was like, what is happening here? What is gonna happen? Until it started getting better and better. It was kind of like a train. It was just chugging really slow, and then it kept going faster and faster. The plot twists, never would have guessed it. In the beginning, I was a bit confused by what was happening, but at the end, it did make sense. This is a romance book, but it's also a very deep, emotional book. I didn't cry, but I was feeling emotions, okay? So the main male character is Alex Volkov. He has a past. So does Ava Chen, main female character. She has a childhood that her memories are messed up. She cannot remember them. She doesn't know. She's been told, like, just memories didn't happen, or they've been misconstrued, okay, to another direction, which is crazy. That's also a part of the plot twist. She sees sun in every dark room, but then all of a sudden, the memories of the secrets come out, and she's just like, oh my god, completely dark, which is understandable based on what was in this book. Alex Volkov, he's got a past, as I said. He's searching for vengeance. I'm just trying to, like, paraphrase this, you know? Doesn't very have much of a heart left to fill with love, okay? But Ava's brother had to move. Alex, Ava's brother's best friend, moved in to his house, which is right next to her house. So they were forced proximity, and I quote, but he's forced to look after his best friend's sister. He starts to feel something in his chest. A crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it. Don't get me started about the cover. Also, I didn't know that Anna Huang, I think it's Anna Huang, had different covers in this. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if this was a different cover, if it had a guy on it, especially this guy, girl, there is no way I'm stepping 10 feet in front of that, or away from that, I don't know. But I loved this. I loved the characters. I loved how they were written. Each, they had their own difficulties, but this, like, romance was happening as well. Spooky scale, 0, as we know, it's romance. Story, did not see that plot twist coming. I was a bit confused in the beginning, because I think I was just, at one point, I read words, and I was like, that didn't make sense, let me go back. And then it didn't make sense, so I was like, you know what, I'll figure it out later. And I did. The emotions, she wrote those characters to be very connected and almost relatable, you know, like with these emotions that even if I was not in that same position, didn't have those things happen to me, I could still feel for the characters. It was so deep and emotional, the things that they were going through, which is so good, but so bad at the same time, you know? When something's really sad, you're like, oh man. But then it's also like, I'm feeling these emotions from words. That's crazy. That's how you know somebody wrote this really good. And I did print out her book list. I have 2 of her books. The next one is by her. But I really want to get the next book because I think it's Twisted Games with I think it's Bridget and Rice. But overall, Spicy Scale. Oh my god. Spicy Scale, I'm gonna give it a 3 because I think there was only like 1 or 2 chapters and I literally can't remember it because everything else around the spice was incredible. I love this. I love this quote. And it's on the back. It says, "You're the light to my dark sunshine. Without you, I'm lost." The nicknames. Dare I say this is a 10? It doesn't feel like a 10 in my soul. It feels like a 9. But I'm gonna rate it a 10 because I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We're gonna go ahead and move on because I could talk about that all day. And I very much recommend that. And if I'm going to reread a book, it's going to be that one. I might actually do that. So, next up, another Anna Huang book, The Striker. It's near 700 pages. Actually 600, 577. Okay, here's the thing. I'm American, right? I really don't read in my head with a British accent. This is written with like a British accent. So I kept forgetting that they were British until they would say like wankers or arse. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like 3/4 of it was good. I loved the characters. I loved the story. The plot twist, I'm gonna be real honest, I think there were 2. The first one, I knew what was gonna happen. The emotions, I mean, yes, I was kicking my feet. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I was kicking my feet. The only thing is it seems kind of drawn out. Maybe that's just because this is the thickest book that I have and I'm like, okay, this is too long. But their relationship almost seems weird. You know, like in the end, it's like they're perfect for each other. They are meant. But leading up to that, it's kind of just like, it's forced proximity, but it's almost like friends to lovers. Because, I mean, they're acquaintances. But I don't know, something is just kind of off. But, like, I feel like something is missing to kind of, I don't know, reinforce that they're in a relationship. I don't know. But it was a little, I don't know, it just kind of seems weird, their relationship. Not weird. Like, they're so cute together. Love them. This is not how I picture them in my head. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that right now. But it almost seems like it was inevitable. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. I don't know what I'm saying. I think I'm overthinking this. Anyways, we're just gonna stop talking. Spice scale, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 3.5. Because I feel like almost 600 pages, there's gotta be some spice in there, you know? But it's not like overwhelming chapters. It's like where they need to be. Spooky scale 0. Recommendability, I'm gonna say maybe. In between yes and no. Maybe, could take it or leave it. I enjoyed reading it at the time, but looking back, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. But like, it was still good. The second plot twist, did not see coming. The romance, I just don't know if I'm a forced proximity girly, you know? But I mean, twisted love. Anyway, 7 out of 10. As soon as I finished this, I was like, okay, when's the next book coming out? October 2025, which, like, I understand. Authors gotta write, they gotta design, they gotta make sure their editing's good. I wish I would have read it in, like, September or something, so I didn't have to wait that long. But moving on, away from la romance, this will kind of give you a clue to the next series I'm going to be reviewing, which I swear I could make an hour-long video talking about it. I'm gonna be completely honest. And if you want that, comment down below. So I did read Killjoy. It's the novella for A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson is such a good writer. Okay, I've only read 3 of her books, 1 novella. The novella, it was good. I did read it afterwards, so kind of useless to read it afterwards because I thought it was, no, you read it after. I'm dumb, okay? You read it before. Learn that, thank you. I mean, there's not really much you can put in a novella, but if I did read this before, it would have given insight. This is kind of just like a fun little book to kind of introduce the characters and transition into the first book of the series. So I'm gonna give it, okay, if I read it before, I would probably give it a 6 out of 10, but since I read it after, my fault, not Holly Jackson's fault. Writing was amazing, my fault. I'm gonna give it a 4. I feel really bad ranking a book that low, but if you read it before the series, it will most likely be better. So here, you are looking at a series that contains 3 of my favorite books, and that is very hard to say, considering I've got an entire bookshelf back there. These are my favorite books to date. We're gonna start one by one. First with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I didn't even give you a synopsis of The Striker. Okay, first up we've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is the OG. This is the beginning. Look at how many tabs. I was doing evidence. I was writing because I was like, I saw people on Instagram like writing, trying to figure everything out. But then I was like, I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna have all the evidence in my mental brain. I love the characters. I love the main characters. I love the story. I love the story so much that when they announced that this is becoming a series on Netflix, or a season on Netflix, which, girl, they just renewed to the 2nd season. First season, I'm not gonna talk about that. That's gonna have to be a different video. But I was like, oh my god, this book is amazing. And then each book got better. Actually, that's a lie. We're gonna talk about the next one. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. Only because, and I will tell you in a moment why. Spicy scale, 0. Spooky scale, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 1 for mysterious because it's like a thriller. It's kind of like, this series has ruined every murder mystery series that I've read. This series ruined the books that I've read after in the best way possible, because nothing can compete to this series. And I love it so, so much. So basically, there's this high school girl, Andy Bell, who was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh, who then, anyways. 5 years later, the main male character, Pip, short for Pippa, is trying to find the real, like, what's really happening, because she doesn't believe that Sal did it. So she starts interviewing, and this is also for her senior final project. She discovers a trail of secrets that might possibly prove that Sal is innocent. Then she goes to interview his brother, Ravi Singh, who started working on the case to try and prove that Sal was innocent. The plot twists were crazy. Did not see it coming. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10 because there's another book in this series that is a 10 out of 10 favorite book. This is a very, very close second runner-up. Next, also, none of these have spice in them. We've got Good Girl, Bad Blood. So this is basically about, she's already done the project, okay? She's already figured out what happened. Then she starts this podcast and she starts relaying the information, I think if I'm remembering correctly, about how she did it and like everything that she found. It went viral. Then her friend's brother goes missing. Police won't do anything about it. You know, if the police actually did their job in this series would not exist. You know, which, like, we got a 3-book series, but you have one job. Jamie Reynolds disappeared the same night. There was a 6-year anniversary of the deaths of Andy Bell and Sal Singh. She follows more clues to try to find out what happened to Jamie, where he went. So it's like another kind of like possible murder mystery. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that this was my least favorite book out of all 3 of these books. I think I didn't like it because Ravi was not in this one as much. I'm not saying that he needs to be in it, but like the chemistry between him and Pip, I didn't really like this one because she was mainly working with Connor, Jamie Reynolds' brother, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't seem as good, you know? So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I still like it. I'm just not sure how I feel about it. It's not as good as the first one. Not as good as the third one. So the spooky scale for that one is going to be 1. Mysterious. Now, everybody, listen up. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3 eyes on me right now, because this is where I need your full attention, because I'm going to give an in-depth review on this book. So, I don't know if you can see, but there's like, it looks worn. This one looks worn. Some crispy pages because I was reading it in the shower. Don't ask why. This third book, you can see. If I didn't say that I read this, probably wouldn't believe me. If I said it, point is, it looks like I didn't even read this because I read it in one day. The third book, As Good as Dead, was my favorite. I might actually, nope, stop, we're not gonna do that right now. You're not gonna start crying. So, it's basically about the last investigation. It ended, okay? She's got DTs from online. Do you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm putting down here without saying it, because I don't know what I'm supposed to and not supposed to say on here. But then the threats escalate and someone is following her. There's like things happening in her house. There's like sidewalk chalk people that crawl up to her window. It is fucking crazy, okay? And she's literally in the center of all of these cases. She's literally in the center of this case. She is the victim in this one. This is crazy. Literally crazy. I am going to read some tabs from here. I don't even think okay, here we go. Okay, wait. Okay, this one's funny. Connor Reynolds, I swear to God, if you order one of those iced pumpkin macchiatos today, I will murder you dead. Kara, Jackie called Shirley from behind the counter. Remember, lesson 1, we don't threaten to kill customers. I feel like in this book, Pip and Ravi's romance, I'm gonna go ahead and need a whole Pip and Ravi freaking Wattpad page, like, book, like, I don't even know. Like, this is a good conclusion to the entire series, but I'm gonna go ahead and need a romance book of them, because what the actual frick. Oh my god, girl. So I'm already gonna tell you, this is a 10 out of 10. Loved the character. Absolutely loved the story. The freaking plot, the way she wrote it, oh my god. I have not sobbed to a book at all. Like, yes, I've had a little couple tears, but like, it's nothing like full on nose running, eyeballs leaking, face is red, face is dry from how much I'm crying. This book did it to me. Holly Jackson, you might be my favorite writer, because this is crazy. I love it so much. Spooky scale, I really want to put it at a 5 because that's crazy. But that's like a, are you mad? Like, literally, why am I reading this? This is freaking crazy. This should not be a book. This, I'm so glad this is a book. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4, which is scary, all caps. This book is crazy. In the best kind of way. I don't know how to explain it. 10 out of 10. Favorite book. Next, we've got How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I did tab a couple times, but it was just like funny stuff. The spooky scale, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2.5 because it was weird, but it was also like, this is weird. Basically, this daughter's parents died and she does not want to go home to sell the house. So, oh my god, this is crazy. It's kind of like it's horror, but at the time I was like, oh god. I don't know if it was that good. It was good. It was definitely did not expect what was going to happen next. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I do like the characters. The story is a little, thinking back to it, it's a little childish thinking of it, but like when you think of it without reading it, you're like, that sounds like a kid's book, but it's not, and it is crazy. The emotions, I don't really feel like there was any. I mean, it was fast-paced, don't get me wrong. Would I recommend it? Maybe to no. If you are a paranormal lover like me, and you love books, maybe. If you want like a cheesy read, I don't know if it's cheesy, but like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm tired. This is most likely the worst book that I've read. And I really, really hate saying that because I love books. I really hate saying that, so it pains me to say this. 5 Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 10. It was hard to get into in the beginning, but I got into it, okay? The characters were fine. The story is where it got me. Because like the plot twist, I had pretty much guessed. I mean, there was something that I was like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen, but basically, let me give you a rundown. Basically, it's Mira, she's the main character, needs to get home for the holidays, but there's a blizzard. So she's gonna be stuck at the Philly airport. But then Harper, Mira's seatmate, offers to get into this car with a bunch of people and they can drop her off. But like somebody's lying because like things start happening and it's almost like oh yeah, of course it would be that character. Who would have thunk it? But it was fine. It just really did not pull my interest. I don't think at all. I mean, there were some bits and like some scenes that I was like, I'm interested. Let me continue. And then it was kind of like this roller coaster effect. And it was like, okay, I'm interested. And now I'm back to not interested. Oh, all right. And like, it just, so I really hate to have to give a book score that low, but that's how it's gonna have to be. All right, next, we've got my very first historical fiction book, which is The Forgotten Bookshop in Paris. Now, this takes place both in Paris, 1940, and modern day. So, this is during World War II. World War I? Girl, I don't know. I think it's World War II, but it's happening in Paris, and I don't know. I say names funny. Has this bookshop where I think him and his wife live on the top, above it. He does not want to lose his bookshop, La Page Cachée. But then a woman and her child knock on his door begging for refuge. He risks it all to save a life. And then he continues to save people. Modern day, so Juliet and her husband made it to France, a romantic getaway. But then while she's there, she's discovered that they've grown apart, that it's not going to work out, and she wants to stay in Paris. And she happens to find this shop with a for sale sign. Then she learns about the past of it. So I actually really, really like this book more than I thought I was. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Love the characters. Sometimes the timelines got kind of mixed up, but like it was way better than I thought I was gonna like it. Spicy scale, I think a 0. Spooky scale, I'm gonna give it a 1 because it was kind of mysterious. Recommendability, I definitely recommend this to history book lovers. The story I really liked. I really, really liked it. And not really any emotions, but better than mid. Alright, next, I got this from Christmas. It was on accident, but it's fine, I read it. There was a miscommunication with the books that I wanted for Christmas. And so I got Runaway by R.L. Stine, Fear Street. I was like, I'm gonna read it because it was given to me, and it might be good. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. It's like 300 pages, I think, maybe 200. 160. So it was a short read. It was actually a very good like palate cleanser in between big books. And I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I did. So I'm gonna give this, I liked the story. No emotions, no spice. The spooky scale, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2 because it was weird. It was also mysterious, you know? I liked the characters. I'm gonna go ahead and give this I said I liked it, but I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. On comparison to all of these other books that I've reviewed, it's a 4. I did have one DNF, like one book that I was like, I don't know if I'm actually ever gonna finish it. And it is, I think, a popular one, possibly. It is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. So it's supposed to be really good. My cousin read this and she said it was really good. And I tried to read it, but the lack of freaking chapter numbers kind of throws me off. But that's not the reason I'm not going to read it. It's because my dumbass thought that this was a murder mystery, and I read the synopsis. I didn't know they meant physical scars. I thought they meant mental scars, as you can see by the title. You might take a guess at what it's about. Read what you want to read. I just don't know if I'm emotionally that tough to read that stuff. So that's a DNF until further notice. Next, I read a lot of books on my Kindle. I actually don't think I've even turned this on in a hot minute. I talked about The Teacher, right? I think I did. We've got Hate Mail by Donna Marchetti. I have more of her books on my TBR. I just did not like this one. It just felt super short, but also kind of weird. And I don't know why. I feel like this is a really loved book, but it almost felt like a cliffhanger at the end. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10. I feel really bad ranking it that low, but it just, I don't know. It didn't really sit well with me. I think it's about, actually, I don't know what it's about. I'll just pop a synopsis. Then we've got The Enforcer, Offside, and Shutout, which are all by Avery Keelan. And they're all in the same series. And girl, wait, the spice scale for Hate Mail was probably a 3. It was probably a 3. Recommendability, maybe. The Enforcer, I'm gonna be completely honest with you right now. I don't remember a single thing from either of these. All 3 of these books. Don't get me out. Shutout, girl. It's got a beautiful cover. And I can remember that in Shutout, the main male character has tattoos. That's what I can remember, okay? So, I'm just gonna put it at a 5 out of 10 because I don't remember. I think I did rank it in my reading journal. Go watch that video of how I make it. I do think I ranked it. Okay, Hate Mail, I didn't rank. I'm just gonna go based off what I said. I ranked Offside a 4.5 out of 5, which I'm gonna give about, what was that, a 9? Girl, no. I'll give it a 7. out of 10. And then I didn't rank the rest. Okay, The Enforcer and Shutout. The Enforcer, I think if I remember, The Enforcer, I think, was, if I'm correct, I think it was an exes to lovers. Like, it was a second chance romance. I do not like second chances of romance. Nope. No thank you. If it didn't work the first time, in my opinion. I'm gonna give The Enforcer a 4. Heard the risk. Shutout. I can just remember that I like this book. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that an 8. Also, all of them are 4, probably. 3.5. I'll give it a 3.5. Okay, next we've got The Graham Effect. I think in the moment, I'm like, oh my god, this is such a good book. And then I actually reflect on it, and I'm like, I don't remember a single thing from that. And I actually didn't like the spice scenes in that book, and I didn't like the character. I'm gonna give The Graham Effect a 6. Because it was okay. It was a lot better when I was reading it, but actually reflecting on it, I was like, could take it or leave it. I don't think I like the main male character. I think that was the problem. I just don't really feel like their chemistry clicked. So recommendability, maybe for all 3 of those. Shutout, girl. Yes, recommend. No emotions besides sometimes kicking my feet. The stories, from what I can remember, they were all, I was gonna say kind of similar. I actually don't remember any of them. Characters were good except for Shutout. The Enforcer. I don't feel like The Enforcer was a second chance romance because that was the first one I read. One of them was a second chance romance, and it's gonna drive me crazy until I know who it is. Anyways, I'm very tired. This is gonna be probably an hour-long video, and I'm sorry. Thank you for sticking till the end. If you're still here, I don't know, I'm tired. I'm really tired. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below if I should do like monthly book check-ins. That way I don't do one once a year and it's freaking 3 hours long. Unless you like longer videos. But comment down below while you're down there. Click all the buttons. You know what to do. And I hope you guys have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world viewing this. And peace.